Hello, Grade 9. In this session, we will continue Section 2 of Chapter 6, History and Culture of Canada. Please open your books on page 152. Creation of Canada. For several decades, these new colonies developed separately from each other. The colonists viewed themselves as different from other parts of the British Empire. Therefore, the British Parliament created the Dominion of Canada in 1867. A dominion is a territory or area of influence. For Canadians, the creation of the Dominion was a step toward independence from Britain. The motto of the new Dominion was "From Sea to Sea." How would Canadians create a nation from sea to sea? With railroads. When the Dominion was established, Ontario and Quebec were already well served by railroads. British Columbia on the Pacific coast was not. To connect British Columbia with the provinces in the east, the Canadians built a transcontinental railroad. After the Canadian Pacific Railway linked the original Canadian provinces to British Columbia, Canada acquired vast lands in the north. Much of this land was bought from the Hudson's Bay Company, a large British fur trading business. Most of the people living in the north were native Canadians and people of mixed European and native ancestry. With the building of the railroad and the signing of treaties with native Canadians, early Canadian settlers created a way for more people to settle Canada's new territories. Canada's people reflect a history of British and French colonial rule. In addition, the country has experienced waves of immigration. The country is home to a great variety of people who belong to different ethnic groups and cultures. Although individual groups still keep their own cultural ways, many Canadians have tried to create a single national identity. During the late 1800s and early 1900s, many immigrants came to Canada from Europe. Most were from Britain, Russia, and Germany. Some people also came from the United States. While most of these immigrants farmed, others worked in mines, forests, and factories. Other immigrants were lured to Canada in 1897 by the discovery of gold in the Yukon Territory. Many people from the United States migrated north in search of Canada's gold. Immigrants also came to Canada from Asian countries, especially China, Japan, and India. British Columbia became the first Canadian province to have a large Asian minority. Many Chinese immigrants migrated to Canada to work on the railroads. Chinese immigrants built most of the Canadian Pacific Railway, one of the railroad lines linking eastern Canada to the Pacific coast. All of these immigrants played an important part in an economic boom that Canada experienced in the early 1900s. During these prosperous times, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Ontario produced wheat, pulp, and paper. British Columbia and Ontario supplied the country with minerals and hydroelectricity. As a result, Canadians enjoyed one of the highest standards of living in the world by the 1940s. After World War II, another wave of immigrants from Europe arrived in Canada. Many settled in Canada's large cities. For example, Toronto has become one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world. The Europeans were joined by other people from Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and Asia. Asian business people have brought a great deal of wealth to Canada's economy. Many Canadians have recently moved from farms to the country's cities. Some settlements in rural Canada have even disappeared because so many people left. Many Canadians have moved to cities in Ontario to find jobs. Others moved to Vancouver, British Columbia for its good job opportunities, mild climate, and location near resources. However, the political and economic center of power remains in the cities of Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal. So, in this section, you learn that Canada was greatly influenced by British and French settlement, the building of the railroad to the Pacific coast, immigration, and movement to cities. In the next section, you will learn about Canada's regions and economy today. Please, I want you to highlight and study the main ideas in your books, and I want you to complete Section 2 assessment, number 1, 2, and 3 on page 155. Thank you and have a good day.